Inside the psychedelic birth of the Grateful Dead, from Warlocks to acid tests. Introduction: Finding the Sound. If you want to hear the story, you have to step back, not just in years, but in mind and spirit. It's the Bay Area, mid-1960s. I'm just a wide-eyed witness stumbling into the electric fog of music, rebellion, and an awakening culture. The streets of San Francisco pulse with energy, some of it new, some of it ancient. Guitars ring out from coffee houses, poets spout manifestos under neon light. In this roiling cauldron is a group of young musicians searching for something beyond the ordinary. They didn't know it yet, but they were about to reinvent American music. The story starts with the Warlocks, before the skeleton dancing bears and the legion of loyal deadheads, back when the adventure was just beginning. Chapter 1: The Birth of the Warlocks. The Warlocks didn't exactly start out as harbingers of a musical revolution. They were 5 guys and a heap of borrowed amplifiers finding each other through the small, weird world of Palo Alto, a cradle of suburban normalcy invaded by restless youth and big dreams. Jerry Garcia wasn't just a guitarist. He was a troubadour with a quick laugh, encyclopedic memory, and gift for improvisation. Bob Weir, impossibly young, gravitated toward Jerry's orbit, with Phil Lesh, a budding avant-garde composer, on bass, Bill Kreutzmann keeping unique time on drums, and Pigpen, Mr. R&B, a harmonica-wielding bluesman on keys and vocals. They made a motley crew. On crowded stages in pizza parlors and local coffee houses, the Warlocks cut their teeth, blending folk, jug band tunes, rootsy blues, and the first sparkles of 60s rock. Their sets were loose, spontaneous, electrified in more ways than one. The crowd? Friends, townies, and occasionally well-lubricated troublemakers. But the boundaries didn't matter. Something in the music was already reaching past the ordinary. There was a sense, even then, that things were about to break open. In Palo Alto's subterranean scene, seeds were planted, friendships forged, and the musical chemistry that would later blossom as the Grateful Dead began to ignite. Chapter 2: Enter the Merry Pranksters. Around this time, a different kind of storm was brewing close by. The Merry Pranksters, led by the enigmatic novelist Ken Kesey. Picture a kaleidoscopic pack of artists, poets, oddballs, and seekers, embarked on a mission to upend reality as we knew it. Their vehicle was Further, a day-glow painted bus, and their fuel was LSD, still legal and just slipping into the mainstream. Kesey's parties, called the acid tests, were part performance art, part spiritual quest. Neon projections flickered across walls, and the air hummed with possibility, laughter, and the unmistakable tang of nerves. The pranksters believed in dissolving boundaries with abandon, between the straight world and the weird, between control and surrender. The same word-of-mouth grapevine that fed the Warlocks audience soon delivered them into the center of this blurry, buzzing circus. It was an invitation not just to play music, but to transform it. To see what might happen when you gave yourself over fully to improvisation and the unknown. The Warlocks couldn't resist. Their journey with the acid tests, and by extension, the history of rock music, had begun. Chapter 3: The Acid Tests. Music, Madness, and Magic. Walking into an acid test, even now, is like trespassing through a dream. Imagine a warehouse or crumbling hall, alive with swirling oil projections, random flashes of color, black lights glimmering, and everywhere you look, people in costume or face paint, grinning and whirling, wrapped in the throes of psilocybin and LSD. Chapter 4: The Dead Find Their Name. It's almost mythic the way the name came about. The Warlocks, now a local fixture at acid tests and small clubs, discovered their moniker was already in use by an East Coast band. No one remembers whose idea it was, but legend has it, one day, Jerry Garcia flipped open an old dictionary and his finger landed on Grateful Dead. The words stopped the room. Ancient. Strange. There was a story there if you looked for it, about a wandering spirit finding peace, about second chances, and about the boundary between what's known and what's beyond. For a gang of cosmic explorers and blues freaks, Grateful Dead was the perfect fit. The name was passed around in laughter and awe, and just like that, the band became the Grateful Dead, wiser, weirder, and destined for immortality. Fans caught wind quickly. The new name, with its folkloric edge, perfectly suited the undercurrent of magic and the sense of otherworldly wonder that clung to every show, every acid test. Chapter 5: Psychedelic Alchemy, the Dead's Evolution. The acid tests became an ongoing laboratory, not just for synthesizing LSD, but for hatching a new musical consciousness. Phones didn't record. Every moment was ephemeral, thrilling, and unrepeatable. That embraced uncertainty became the Grateful Dead's musical incubator. At every test, they freed themselves more from the constraints of set lists and rigid performance. Dark Star and Viola Lee blues became living entities, stretching for 20, 30 minutes, mutating with every interaction from the crowd, Keesley, or some random muse. The band learned to listen deeply, to respond to a glance, a mood, a swirl of colored light. The prankster ethos, art made in real time, nothing fixed, everything in flux, inspired the Dead to treat every concert as a once-in-a-lifetime event. It was no accident. This is how LSD worked. This is how Keesley saw the world. And this is how the scene demanded to be. What grew up around them was more a living ritual than a rock show, giving birth to a new sense of musical community. Chapter 6: Forging the Deadhead Community. If the acid tests were a laboratory, they also seeded a movement. Fans, freaks, heads, students, dropouts started following the band from bash to bash, reveling in the unpredictability, swapping stories, recording sets on battered reel-to-reel tape decks. These early followers were more than fans. They were fellow travelers, plugged into the shape-shifting mythos the band was creating in real time. The Deadhead was born not from marketing, but from pure, shared experience. From trusting that something, some magic, would happen if you just showed up and let go. The Dead's ethos, radically inclusive, open-ended, always evolving, echoed that community spirit. Whether you joined because you love blues, sonic experimentation, the freedom, or just the spectacle, you were part of the story.